It was like Kevin Bacon.
What?
Yeah, and Flash, jump back. You know, Flashdance? Okay.
That's Kevin Bacon.
It's not Kevin Bacon?
Footloose?
Yeah.
Flashdance? Isn't that about a stripper?
Yeah, you're probably right. Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be doing another chapter of our What's Good series, and today we're going to be focusing on NABLA Cosmetics. So NABLA Cosmetics is a indie Italian brand that is available on Ulta.com. So if you are in the US and you want to purchase from like a major retailer, you certainly can purchase from there, or you can buy from their website directly. And I have actually enjoyed this makeup brand for a really long time. I haven't really heard people talk about it recently, and so I wanted to come on here and talk about a bunch of their different products that they have so that we could do a deep dive and figure out like what's good, what's not good. And so let's go ahead and get started. So to start out, we are going to use the Angel Aura Radiant Plumping Serum Primer. Now, do you guys remember the Farsali primer that came out like a couple years ago where like people were dripping like this beautiful pink unicorn essence like primer all over the face? Well, NABLA basically has their own version of this. This is a really, really nice primer, particularly if you have dry skin, because this is going to go on super smooth. It's going to literally hydrate your face and also give it a little bit of a tacky finish so that foundation lays really, really nicely on top. Now, as an oily girl, this is a primer that I use on its own. So on the days when I was like testing this out, I did not moisturize my face before using this primer because it was just going to be an oily mess. I could tell based on the formulation of this that I was like, okay, yeah, I don't need that much hydration. And so for me, this is a really nice like one step, one and done moisturizer primer serum all together, and you can see it makes your skin really, really glowy. So this primer underneath foundation is really, really beautiful. I, however, don't really like it on its own. So if I'm looking to have totally bare skin, just want to do like a one and done moisturizer primer type deal and get glowy skin, I typically don't really reach for this. I actually like my Vive Skin Nova a little bit better for that, mostly just because this one does leave a little bit of a tacky finish. So if it were like just this on its own, my hair would kind of stick to my face. Okay, so you guys can see that my foundation and bronzer went on like beautifully. Honestly, this primer is so nice if you need something that's going to be very skin smoothing, because it does do a really nice job with that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to brows. I have their Brow Ambition Micro Stroking Brow Pen, and I have this in the shade Natural Brown. I'll be honest with you guys, this is not my favorite brow pen. I find that even though the point is relatively thin and very, very like easy to apply, this to me, and you can kind of see some of that product right around here, this is a little bit of a leaky product, and so I don't love it for that reason. And then I don't feel like I have as much precision with this eyebrow pen as well. Some of it I do think is the shade. I prefer like my eyebrow pens to be a little bit more on the ashy side of things. This one is just a little bit too brown for my taste. But you can just see as I'm drawing in my brows here, things are looking a little bit thicker than I would like. And so I'm not a huge fan of that. In terms of longevity, this is a perfectly fine product. Like I don't notice that my brows fade throughout the day with this. But again, I don't feel like I have control over this, and I wind up with a little bit of a thicker line than I really want to with this brow pen. Let's go ahead and move on to products where NABLA absolutely kills it every single time, and that would be their eyeshadow palettes. So I have their Dreamy Palette. I've also had their Nude side-by-side palette. I also had another one of their palettes, but I actually decluttered those and gave those away to friends because like they're amazing palettes. It's just that like I had repeats of like multiple Nude eyeshadow palettes. Anyway, so if you're looking for an eyeshadow palette that is very, very trustworthy, and I mean like creamy mattes, beautiful shimmers, good metallics, like easy to use, very foolproof, then I would absolutely recommend NABLA Cosmetics. I do think that they do a wonderful job with all of their eyeshadow palettes. Now, one thing I do want to say is that they do tend to be very, very like pigmented, so you don't need very much of this product to go a very, very long way when you're doing your eyeshadow. This is one that I would consider like you just lightly dip your brush into the pan and you're gonna pick up quite a bit of color. I would definitely say that this is one of those palettes where like the pigmentation is definitely there. However, the blendability of this makes it really easy to work with. So it's not something that I would fear giving to like a beginner. So I'm gonna do a relatively easy eye look today, mostly just because I do also want to talk about their glitter quads, which are also incredible. So I'm gonna just take this rose gold here and just fill in a little bit all over the lid. You do not need a wet brush. You do not need your finger, and look at how fast this foil shade goes on to your eyelid. It's freaking absurd. Moving on to the glitter palette from NABLA. This is their Ruby Lights glitter palette. Now this one, I actually think they have multiple shades of this. I freaking love this glitter palette. First of all, obviously eye safe, which is very important. And then second of all, this is one of those glitter palettes where it actually blends on to your eye very, very easily. This is something where you literally just tap it with your finger and it applies directly onto your lid without a lot of fuss at all. So you can just see how quickly that applies. It doesn't pick up on the eyeshadow underneath. Out of all of the glitter eyeshadows that I have, like I like this one a lot, mostly just because of how easy it is to use. Like this isn't something where, you know, I struggle with like going from, okay, it's really easy to pick up onto my finger, but then it doesn't transfer onto my lid. I don't have that problem with this one. And then of course it's very beautiful. I like that the glitter has different textures in it. So it's not just like one glitter particle that's the same. You get a lot of different shapes and sizes. And so that to me is really, really fun. So festive. Honestly, if you're looking for something that's just gonna amp up your eyeshadow look for the holidays, this is really, really nice. I would highly recommend checking out their glitter palette. Okay, moving on to the next thing that NABLA does really well for eyes. I have talked about this before on my channel. This is the Cupid's Arrow Full Color Stylo. My dream in life is to have like all of these and all of the shades, but you know, I'm practicing some sort of self-control, so I don't have all of the shades to show you right now because, you know, it'll take me time to get them. So here's the black. You can tell that is pigmented AF. Like if you are looking for a black eyeliner that is going to travel the distance, it's going to stay with you until the end of time, this is a really, really good eyeliner to go for. Obviously, it's a little bit thicker, so if you're someone who likes a really thick wing, this is a very, very good option to have. But this maroon shade is the dreamiest red brown ever. It is so hard, I feel, to find a really good red brown because most people wind up making it just like this cool tone brown, which I'm like, boring. Like there's so many of those browns out there. And so the fact that NABLA Cosmetics came out with like this red brown just makes me so excited. So I'm going to go ahead and place this into my waterline. The other thing that I really like about this as well is because of the warmth, it actually matches with like this peachy toned like eyeshadow look really, really well. Let's go ahead and move on to the two mascaras that NABLA also has. So look at this mascara packaging. Like honestly, this is so ridiculous. This is their Vicious Mascara and the top part of it, I believe, is a panther head. Okay, so this is the wand. This is going to be the mascara that you're going to go for if you're looking for like really intense lashes and you like more of a spiky brush. And then they also have the Major Pleasure Mascara. Now this one is a little bit more generic, a little more normal. This is a very, very wet formula. It's going to give you more of a fluffy lash look. Now the nice thing about both of these mascaras is that I don't notice anything like flaking throughout my day. Both of these are a little bit more on like that wet gel-like consistency, so they build really, really nicely on themselves. I'm going to wear my Crazy Panther one on my right eye, and I'll show this to you guys so you can see, and then we'll do Major Pleasure on my left eye so that you guys can see and compare and contrast both of these mascaras. The nice thing about this wand being so small is that I can really get into all of those individual lashes and comb this mascara through. This is definitely the one that I would recommend if you are going for like that party look where you don't necessarily want a fluffy lash, like you are intentionally really going very, very volumizing, less flirty of a look, more dramatic, which I suppose makes sense because of the whole panther head thing. It's a vibe. Now the Major Pleasure Mascara, this one I like to really build up on its own. The application of this is just a little bit different. It's giving me more of that fluffy look. It's a lot more flirty. It's a little bit softer in just the way that it applies, and it coats a little bit differently on your lashes, But what I really like about both of these mascaras is that they are both extremely black in pigmentation. So this is not one where you're gonna put this on and you're just gonna be like, where the hell did my lashes go? This is one where like even with just one coat, it's really gonna show up quite nicely. The next product that we're going to talk about is their Close-Up Baking and Setting Powder. Now this one, I accidentally tapped way too much powder out. I like to just take my fluffy brush in here, tap off all of that extra, and then just lightly brush this all over my face to just set down my foundation or set down any products that I have previously used. I'm gonna go ahead and apply it to my forehead, and we're gonna do a quick zoom so you guys can kind of see how this goes on. So you can definitely see that like there's still some pores that are happening right here, but look at what happens when I apply this powder on top of my pores. Literally everything just blends out and blurs beautifully. So this is one where I would say, like, if you wanted to use this as a puff, if you wanted to apply it a little bit differently than the way I'm applying it, you certainly could. But for me, you know, I don't really love baking my face. I like to just slightly set down my face, and this is definitely one that is an amazing job at like taking away your pores without being like heavy at all, if that makes sense. And I do not feel like this one clogs my pores at all. It really just gives me a nice airbrushed effect. Okay, the next product I wanted to talk about is the 2 Reasons Lightweight Cream Color and Glassy Balm product. So this one, I actually have this in the shade Soft Nude. Not my favorite cream blush, if I'm being totally honest. This is a little bit of a stiffer formula, so I find myself having to really dig a brush into this pan in order to get it to really pick up and show nicely on my face. However, the nice thing about this product is that once you do that, and I'm really kind of going in kind of ham with my foundation brush here, once you do that, it looks beautiful on your skin. Look at how nice and natural this blush looks on your face. This is definitely one of those products where like if you are someone where you're very like makeup minimalist, like you just want to give yourself a really healthy glow without your face feeling tacky and you want to use a cream product, this could very, very well be the product that you need. It sets down to a relatively non-tacky finish, which I really like. But my favorite thing about this is just how natural that glow looks on your face. Now, it does also come with like a glossy balm. I don't like this. I don't really like this part at all. It kind of just looks like, okay, you know how there are some products out there where it gives you, like, it's more of like that shine or that sheen to your skin. So it just looks really healthy. It looks really dewy, but there's no glitter or anything like that. I think that's what they were trying to do with this product. But as you can see, like, the effect that it has on your skin, you can't even really see it when I swatch it. And that's what it looks like on your skin, on your face. And like, if you try to build it up to the point where it does look glossy and balmy and like glass skin-like, it gets really tacky and thick and weird. There are things you should know about this product before purchasing it that like, it's a little bit harder to use, you know? The flush that it gives you is really, really nice. So, and it's one of those, you know? Pros and cons. The next product we're going to talk about is a blush that I love. Absolutely love from NABLA. So this is their Skin Glazing Glass Skin Finish Glow Powder. And as you can see, I have 3 different shades of this. So from left to right, we have Truth, Independence, and Lola. Now, as you can see, as I'm moving my hand around, this is gonna give you that like shimmer effect. If you are looking for a glowy blush that is super easy to work with, and I mean like easy because it picks up really nicely on a brush and then applies really quickly to your face, I would highly recommend checking out these blushes. I'm actually going to go with Truth because this is going to give me a little bit more of that peachy look to really match my eyes. Man, if you guys are looking for like a beautiful shimmering pigmented blush, this is it. This is it. You don't need to look at any other product. Forget Rare Beauty, forget the Essence one. This is worth all of the money in the world. Like, this is so beautiful. So easy to work with. I love it. Similar to that, they also have a couple of highlight colors. Now, I have this in Privilege and Ozone. Let me swatch these for you as well. So on my hand, I have a Privilege swatched here and then Ozone here. Ozone is going to be more of that like white gold champagne kind of a highlight. Like this one I would say is going to be a lot more gleaming. So this is something that you would use when you're going to like a party and you want your like face to just be like bouncing, like all the lights bouncing off your face. That's what I would recommend. Privilege is going to be a lot more of that like daily wear highlight, where it's going to be more of like a beautiful, softer champagne gold that is going to just look really, really nice on your skin. That is actually what I'm going to apply to my face today. But what I really like about both of these highlights, and you can literally see how much I've used this, like this is a product that has actually been in my kit for a really long time. This is one of those where it's just as soft as the blush, so you really don't need all that much to create a gorgeous impact on your face. Like, get out of town! Is that not like the most beautiful, soft, but like luminous highlight of all time? Like, honestly, you guys, this is where NABLA shines. Their powder products, in terms of like their eyeshadows, their blushes, their highlights, excellent, excellent formulas across the board. The last product we're going to talk about is their Beyond Jelly Sheer Lipstick, and I have this in the shade Lunar. Now, of course, you guys are going to be like, oh, of course it's the shade that she picked up, because it's literally that dead nude color that she loves so, so much. So this is the perfect, like, sheer glossy lipstick that you can apply without looking in a mirror. This is one of my favorite products to bring with me on the go, because look at how fast I can apply that color without looking at anything. I'm literally looking at the camera lens, there's no reflection, no mirror, and look at how fast I just completed this look. This is a phenomenal product. It definitely feels like it nourishes your lips as you're wearing this. It's a very sheer wash of color, so if you're looking for something that is gonna, like if you want just one coat where it's like, oh, like that little hint of color, you can do that with this product. If you want to build it up the way that I just did, 1, 2, 3, and you've got a beautiful layer of solid color on your lips that is glossy and beautiful. So this is definitely a product that I would recommend. And that, my friends, wraps up this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this full review of NABLA Cosmetics. I'll be totally honest with you guys, they have a lot more products that I didn't even get to today. So if you are interested in checking them out, I would highly recommend going over to their website or taking a look at their products on Ulta.com. Again, this is definitely one of those brands that I would recommend checking out. A lot of their products are phenomenal. They shine mostly in their powder products. So if you're interested in checking them out, I would highly recommend starting with their eyeshadow palettes and then also getting their blush and highlight in this packaging. Like, both of those are really, really good. If you guys enjoyed this video, please feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, feel free to follow us over on Instagram if you haven't done that. And I will see you guys in next time's video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.